What's happening, guys? It's Boxing Lowdown and I'm back here with another video. Now, this is my post-fight review to Jermell Charlo's victory over Tony Harrison on Saturday night, stopping him in the 11th round. A very entertaining, action-packed fight it was. And Jermell Charlo got revenge over Tony Harrison. He regains his WBC Super Welterweight title. And yeah, I mean, it was a very, very good victory for him. One that he really did have to work for. One that he was under adversity from throughout the fight. He did manage to put Harrison down earlier on, but I thought that Harrison was doing very well as well. It was a really back and forth, entertaining battle. And considering the sort of, the like build up towards this fight, the animosity that these two had for each other, and, considering what was on the line, the WBC Super Welterweight title and Jermell Charlo's reputation as well. I mean, he really needed to win this for him to move forward in 2020. And he managed to regain his title. But let me talk about the fight itself, man. Like I said, very entertaining from round one. Jermell Charlo and Tony Harrison, they were like, I was really surprised with Tony Harrison's tactics, let me say that. Because everybody expected Harrison to, box and move, which is normally his style. But he was taking it to Charlo and pushing him back throughout the fight. It did work out to be in his detriment afterwards, considering how it ended. And he was knocked down earlier on by Jermell Charlo as well. It was either the second or third round. And yeah, but that didn't set the tone for the rest of the fight though, because Harrison continued to move forward. He was landing some solid counter shots. He was leading. And I had him winning at the time of the stoppage. I know a lot of people may disagree or may agree, I'm not sure, but the scorecard certainly had Jermell Charlo in front. I think two of the judges' scorecards had him up, whereas one of them had Harrison up. But I also had Harrison up. I thought that he was probably 2 rounds up or so. I didn't really keep a running scorecard of the fight, but yeah, he was pushing Charlo back, which is a surprise to me, because Jermell Charlo likes to counter, and he's very quick as well. He's got some sharp lead left hooks. He's got a good right hand, and he's shown power in his last few fights. I mean, he's knocked out the likes of Kota in his last fight. He knocked out Erickson Lubin in a round a couple of years ago, which was, a big win for him. But Jermell Charlo's got the power, we know that. So it was quite surprising to me to see Harrison, walk up with a high guard, sort of like the Winky Wright sort of style, and, take it to Charlo. And it was working. Like, it was actually working. He was pushing him back. He was landing some solid shots to the body and head. But Tony Harrison's detriment to me was not only those tactics in the end, but just the way how he went about his business, man. He started to showboat towards the end, and, he thought he had it in the bag, and he was just doing silly things like he'd get hit and then he's shaking his ass and stuff like that. And that's all good if you do it once or so, but he was just he wanted to continue to do it like in the later rounds. And maybe he was masking some of that energy. Like maybe he was actually getting tired and he wanted to show Charlo, try and still get into his head. But, Charlo was persistent. I mean, he carried on and he did well. In the later rounds, he was starting to really, push on, and he showed some of that great conditioning that he has. And it resulted in the end, in the 11th round, he dropped Harrison. Both men landed left hooks, but Charlo's left hook was the more powerful. And it buckled Harrison. He fell into the ropes, and then Charlo followed up. And yeah, Harrison went down. Then he knocked him down a second time, which was more heavier. And I thought that was it at that point. And so did Charlo. He thought it was it as well. He jumped on the ropes thinking that he won, but the referee was actually giving Tony Harrison a count. And yeah, after that, the follow-up again from Charlo resulted in the referee stopping the fight, which was, the follow-up, the referee could have stopped it after the second knockdown, in my opinion. The follow-up that Charlo was landing on Harrison they weren't really landing flush on him. I mean, he was blocking a lot of them and slipping, but I think it was just because he wasn't showing any sort of offense at the time, and the referee decided to wave it off. And Harrison was complaining bitterly about it, but in my eyes, I thought it was the correct stoppage, because we don't need to see him out on his back or anything. I think that he was, he didn't show any signs of recovery after those 2 knockdowns beforehand. So the correct stoppage, in my opinion, even though Harrison was doing very well in that fight, and I think he was winning on my particular scorecard, yeah, Jermell Charlo, he regains the belts, and he's looking forward to move on to next year, and hopefully we could see him against Julian Williams. Now, that would be a fantastic fight, and it would have a bit of meaning as well, because Julian Williams obviously lost to Jermell Charlo's brother, Jermell Charlo, in the 5th round when they fought. I think it was a couple of years ago now as well. And yeah, he's since then gone on to redeem himself. He's picked up he's now the unified super welterweight champion, And, you know, 3 out of the 4 belts could be, you know, unified if these two guys get it on. There's a bit of backstory there, as I said, with Julian Williams fighting and losing to Jermell Charlo's brother. He'll definitely want to start his redemption by defeating his younger brother anyway, and then maybe that will set the lineup for a rematch with Jermell. So yeah, that'll be a very good fight to look forward to next year. And I think the lessons learned from this whole particular saga is to make these fights happen now, because we were supposed to see Jermell Charlo take on Jarrett Hurd. That didn't happen, and then for obviously he lost to Tony Harrison, but for him he got the rematch and he won it. But you know, we missed out on a big fight there. So hopefully we can get these two guys to fight. Wouldn't be hard to make at all, as both of them are in the PBC. And as for Tony Harrison, man, I mean, I think that he will, you know, I think he'll reflect on this and just be really upset with himself, because he was doing very well in that fight for me. And I didn't expect him to be pushing Charlo back like he was. But, you know, he was doing very well. But it's the showboating and, you know, the clowning around and stuff. Yeah, you could do that before the fight. But when you're in the ring, it's all business, man. And, you know, that ultimately let him down in the fight. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about it anyway, and what you'd like to see next for both men. That's just my post-fight review on this fight. It was one that I was really looking forward to, actually. And great show for PBC to close out the year with as well, man. It was very entertaining throughout. So shout out to them for making it happen. And let me know your thoughts on the fights anyway in the comment section below, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.